might not be here with us. I'm going to do a little screen share to start off and show you guys around Beachbody On Demand, as well as a couple other really fun places where you can go for recipes. My suggestion for Megan's group, who is just in week 1, I would keep things like super, super simple right now. That first week, I always found like it's just a lot easier to keep your meals simple, maybe repeat things. I think Megan's maybe helped you with your meal plans and stuff, so you should be good. Sometimes in the second week, you're starting to get maybe tired of the same snack options. I always tell people, why don't you just pick a couple snacks and repeat that all week? By the time you're into the second week, you might want to get a little bit more adventurous. You've got it down, you've got your containers down, you've got things figured out. So now I want to share with you some places that you can go to find some really great fix-friendly recipes. I get messages daily of different recipes sent to me, and can you make this fix friendly for me? What would the containers be for this? And honestly, my trick for that is, if I in my head want to make lasagna, I go to Pinterest and I plug in 21-day fix lasagna, because there's probably 25 other Beachbody coaches that have figured it out already. So I try to keep things super simple, and that's what I tell my challengers to do as well. We don't need to reinvent any wheels here. Like, go to the place where it's already been figured out, and Pinterest is an awesome resource. If you want to follow my Pinterest account, I actually have a board specifically made for my challengers. So every time I find a recipe I like a lot, I will pin it onto my 21-day fix friendly board, or anything that I see that I think might look good as well, I pin there as well. So it's an easy reference for my challengers to see different recipes. So I'm just going to take you to a couple different places where you can find some recipes. Just give me one sec. I just have to share my screen here. All right. So first, I'm going to keep you into, most of you have Beachbody On Demand. I'm sure a lot of you are using the All Access Pass, or you have a 30-day free trial with your challenge pack purchase. So I hope you signed up for that, because there's a lot of value, even if you just want to use it for the 30 days. You can get tons of different recipes, tons of different meal plan ideas, and you can try some different workouts, which is kind of fun as well. But if you go here and just scroll down on this programs tab, just click recipes, and there's a whole bunch of recipes from the Fix 8 cooking show that are here for you. So these all actually have a video to go with them, and it's Autumn and her brother. He's a chef, and some of them have you ever made anything from this, Megan? Yeah, I haven't either. If I am like the laziest person you'll ever meet in the kitchen, so this kind of stuff is way beyond me. But if you really like to cook, I've had some challengers that really love cooking. These are some great recipes. They're different. They're going to keep you excited about food, but they're going to keep you within your container brackets, and they're really broken down into the containers and ingredients. So this is a great little resource that you can go to. You can also go to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get here from here. Let me just go to the 21-day fix program here. Just give me one second. This is always really slow when I'm sharing my screen. So because you have access to lots of different programs in the Beachbody On Demand, if you have all access, you obviously have access to everything. If you have the 30-day trial, you also have access to the member library. So there's tons of different programs here that you can look at. And every single program that we come out with comes out with different recipes. So you have access to that. So one of the free programs here, let's just go to T25, because that's a free program. So everyone has access to that right now. if you look down the right-hand side, so all your workouts are here down the left-hand side, but if you go over here, you can literally get the nutrition guide. You can get all the meal plan. You can get the recipes that come with that program. So they're kind of fun to look through, all different programs that we have if you're looking for some different recipes. You can also head to the Team Beachbody blog, and it is, hopefully have that pulled up. Yeah, here it is. So it's just beachbody.com, and I always just do a search for Beachbody blog, and the recipes on here are awesome. They are so good. This is actually the first place I would tell you to go. Everything is figured out for you with with container counts. I have made so many of these recipes, and like I said, I don't love cooking. I really like things to be as simple as possible, and these are so easy. I've done the chicken tenders, I've done the chicken parmesan. My mom makes the chicken noodle soup all the time. We've just made so many. So this would be the first place when you're wanting to really start making some different supper recipes. Always make double. If you are feeding a family of 6, I feed a family of 4 now. My mom always eats with us now. I always make double, so I have stuff for the lunch the next day or the next day supper. You know, if you're going to go to the work to make a fixed friendly dinner for your family, why not make more so you can either have it the next day, or you can portion it out and freeze it and have it for a later lunchtime or a later quick supper at some point in time. So those are just some different places. And of course, Pinterest. Pinterest is so easy. Just go to Pinterest and log in 21-day fixed recipes, and you're going to come up with like way too many. You'll never, ever make them all. That's for sure. And the last place I'm going to take you is just the teambeachbody.com site. And if you go to the Eat Smart tab, so you can log into your account. You can just log into your account that you made this password and everything when you bought your program. And if you go to the Eat Smart tab, there's tons of different Shakeology recipes for you to try. There's tons of different recipes. Once you're on your own, like if you decide to kind of go the program on your own after your challenge group, you can even make different meal plans up in this under the Eat Smart tab. I feel like I lost it now, but here we go. If you go to My Meal Planner, you can actually, I wouldn't suggest doing that right now because you're in the middle of a challenge group, and either myself or Megan, and we've kind of given you tips to really focus on the 21-day fix. But after the fact, this is a great place to go if you want some different meal plan options as well. So all of that comes with either your 30-day free trial or your all access. You have access to this forever. So that's just a little kind of tour. There's honestly, on this Team Beachbody site, there are so many different fitness tips, and you can have workout sheets to print out if you're really like a pen and paper person and like to keep track of your stuff. There is message boards. When I started with Beachbody like 17 years ago, I hung out on the message boards. So it's actually quite funny to go, wait, there was no coaches back then or anything like that. So there was no kind of support except these message boards. So I would go on there, and I never talked to anybody, but I would like read everybody's tips. They were doing the same. I did Slim in 6. And so that's been around forever, but there's tons of different advice. If you have questions or whatever, I mean, we're lucky now we have coaches to talk to, but back in the day, that's what we did. But if you're bored on a weekend, get going on this website, and there's just so much to look at, nutrition tools and tips and recipes. So I hope that helps just give you a little rundown of where you can get recipes once you're ready to kind of, be a little bit more adventurous. And you should be, because this is not about, eating boring food and eating chicken and broccoli all the time. Like you this is a lifestyle, right? We want you to continue on with this forever. I mean, I just did a post in my support group tonight. I've been doing this for 3 years. It wasn't like I did it for 42 days and then I was back to my old self. It's something that you want to continue on forever. That's what we're trying to teach you in these, especially these first 21 days, is to really feel that this is a lifestyle change for yourself and find your happy place. And that means it can't just be boring food all the time. You need to be able to enjoy it, because it's the only way you're going to have lasting change and keep weight off and get off that diet yo-yo, is to figure out how to make this a new lifestyle change. So don't be scared, start small. Maybe start next week with one recipe kind of out of the norm that you'll make, and then just build on that. But there's lots of resources out there for you to find something that will appeal to you and your family. And you can be lazy, because I'm so lazy. If I can do it, you guys can do it. And I think Megan's going to talk about some dining out tips, because that is also another real struggle and a real challenge. I remember being really nervous about going out. Like, what are you going to do when you're asked to go to a party or you're asked to go to a restaurant? So she's going to share some of our best practices for going out.
Okay, so we don't want you guys to think of this as like jail and like a life sentence that you are now eating out of your containers for the rest of your life, and you can't do anything fun, and you can't go to parties, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go to barbecues this summer, because that's not the truth. You can still do all the things that you want to do and that you have been doing. We're just going to teach you how to sort of do it in a healthier way. So eating out is something that we all are going to do. It's something we all enjoy doing, and it's something that some of you might be doing this coming weekend. So you sort of need to get your head wrapped around the idea that you can go out to dinner and you can stay on track. Going to a restaurant does not have to mean that you throw all of this out the window, and that if you've been, working out and eating clean all week long, it doesn't mean that, oh shoot, Saturday night I'm going out, so I'm going to blow it. That's not what your mindset should be. It should be the complete opposite. And it's just, you're going out for dinner and no big deal. You have the tools to stay on track and you can do it. So what it comes down to is making a decision. And basically you have two decisions. Are you going to stay on track, or are you going to totally fall off the wagon? And you decide. Nobody else decides for you. You decide. So decide ahead of time, and you have to be really okay with what your decision is. If you have decided that you are going out for dinner and you don't give a damn about the containers or how hard you're working, and you want to go and order whatever you want, you have to feel really good about that decision. But if you want to go out and stay on track, you also have to feel really good about that decision. And it shouldn't be something that you're dreading because, oh, I'm not going to be able to order anything good. I'm doing the 21-day fix right now. My coach says I have to stay on track. I'm going to be no fun this weekend. That's not what it's like. So you can go out and you can still stay on track and have a really good time, but you have to decide that ahead of time. So you need to know where you're going, first of all, and you need to look up the restaurant online days in advance, or worst case, that morning, because you need to sort of plan out how your day is going to go and how your week is going to go leading up to it. So you need to sort of you need to pick what you are going to order, for sure. So look at the menu. Everything is online, so there's no excuses. You cannot show up to a restaurant without a plan. You cannot decide when you're browsing the menu at 7 p.m. with your husband or friends, whoever. You can't decide then, because you're going to make a really bad choice, for sure. You're going to be hungry, the temptations. You're going to ask everybody else what they're ordering, and then you're going to order kind of according to what they're all ordering. And sometimes we can sort of be pressured into ordering based on what other people are ordering. I know for me, I am always kind of like a people pleaser. So I sort of want to do what everybody else is doing. So if I'm going out to dinner with people who are all eating healthy, I'm going to eat healthy. But if I'm going out to dinner with people who aren't eating healthy, well, then I'll just get the burger and fries with you. Like, that's cool. I don't want to be the odd man out. But you have to change that a little bit, because this is your journey, and these are your results, right? You want to get to a goal by day 21. So you need to decide how you're going to get there. So look at the menu ahead of time, figure out what you're going to order. You do not want to order something that is fried or like sitting in a sauce of any kind. Anything that says sauce, you probably want to avoid. But the good thing about going to a restaurant is you can ask to sort of customize anything. So if there's something on the menu that you really want, but it's kind of loaded with all these other things, you can just request to have something a little bit different. So all restaurants are going to have some sort of protein that you can order. So you can have a lean piece of meat and some veggies on the side. That's sort of what I always do, because that to me is very satisfying. I'm not a potato eater, so I would always skip the potato, but I would get extra veggies and a really good piece of meat. And that I would feel very, very satisfied with that. And so it's very easy to make that decision ahead of time that, I'm going to order the, beef tenderloin tonight and extra veggies on the side. That's just, you make that decision and you go into the restaurant already knowing what you're going to order. And don't get concerned if everybody else is ordering something crazy and fun. You don't need to, and don't feel pressured by that either. Because I know for me, that's sort of what holds me back anytime I try and make that decision and I end up failing because I get sort of pressured. And sometimes your friends and your peers can kind of sort of talk you into it. Like, oh, it's one night, who cares? Just order the cheese tortellini, who cares? So really stick to your guns and just know what you're working towards and make that decision ahead of time. Because there's nothing like the feeling of walking out of a restaurant knowing that you stuck to your guns. It is the best feeling in the world when you can go in there with a plan, order this nice, awesome looking meal that's healthy, eat and not feel so disgustingly full, and walk out of that restaurant. And you are so happy and so empowered and just feeling on top of the world because you did it. Like, that is the best feeling in the world. And then you wake up the next morning and you are just still feeling amazing because you just cannot believe that you actually went to a restaurant and you stayed on track. And maybe your friends or your husband didn't, and they're kind of walking out of that restaurant like, oh God, I ate too much. But you feel amazing. So just think of how good that will feel, and that will really help kind of drive your decision, whatever that decision is going to be. Michelle, anything to add there?
Sorry. Yeah, no, you've said it all. I mean, you just have to not be nervous about asking for what you want. People get so uptight about that. We are living in a world where there is allergies and like everybody makes special requests. Don't second guess it at all. I actually love going out to dinner. I find it so simple. You can always get a salad with some sort of protein on it. So a salad with chicken, but what you need to be careful of are all those extras. Those extras need to stay on the side. Honey roasted pecans, sugared pecans, any of that dried craisin stuff, all the cheese. I'm not saying you shouldn't let yourself have a few, but just ask them to put it on the side. That's what I do all the time. I kind of have a little bit of a sense of humor. So when a waiter or waitress comes to our table, what I start with is, I'm going to be your pickiest person tonight. And they're going to be like, oh, okay. And they get ready for it. And all I ask for is, can I just have this salad, but can you just bring everything on the side? You can keep your pecans. I'm not going to eat those. And just have my dressing on the side. And they're always like, oh my gosh, you're not picky. And then they're like, we're fast friends. So I just kind of lay it out there. As far as the people that I'm with, you know what? Like, who's the smart one at the table? The person with the piles of poutine or me? Like, the whole world knows that that is bad and this is good. So don't worry about it. Don't get uptight about it. You just have to make the choice. And like Megan said, there is nothing more empowering than waking up that next day and knowing that you made the right decision. I can tell you, you can have cheat meals, and so many people talk about these cheat meals and everybody should have a cheat meal every week. They can backtrack you big time. They can stall out your results. You can work really hard all week, and that cheat meal can make the difference of losing weight this week and not. My suggestion to you in your first 21 days is forget about all these cheats. You do not need cheats. Like, you really don't. We teach you how to have, like, maybe you decide to have a glass of wine. That's fine. But you don't need to have like the glass of wine and the 10 fries off your husband's plate and the 7 bites of dessert from your sister's plate. Like, don't do that. Like, have your one thing and leave it at that. You have to make that decision. You have to, if you're going to work so hard all week, why would you wreck it in one weekend? It doesn't make any sense. So my 2 kind of go-to meals when I'm at a restaurant that are like it's just so simple, is a salad with protein, dressing on the side, and I just like dip little bits of dressing. Like, I don't say don't eat any of it, but I'll just have tiny little bits, or get beef tenderloin and ask for steamed vegetables. Every restaurant in the world has steamed vegetables. You are not asking for anything crazy. Like, they have them. They have water and they have vegetables. You're not asking for anything out of the ordinary. So those are the go-tos. If your menu is like, sometimes really extremely fancy restaurants, the menu gets a little bit more complicated, send it to us. I have people send me links to menus every day. I have no problem figuring out what you should ask for and giving you like word for word. And I know Megan's exactly the same. So Megan, someone said, Autumn says not to undo all your hard work. Yeah, absolutely. Like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Like, nothing tastes that good. It's not like we're saying you are never, ever going to be able to have French fries again. Of course you are. Just not right now. You don't need them. You know what they taste like. Like, you're going to live not eating them for 21 days. You'll be able to have them again, but just choose not to do it now. You've worked too hard already. If you've put 1 day in, you've worked too hard. Don't do it.
Yeah, and I think especially like for anyone who is in their very first round, so for my challengers, it's day 1, but just commit to this program for the full 21 days or the 30 days, whatever your program is. Just don't worry about after. Like, we'll talk about what comes after in a couple weeks, but just really, really try and stay on track, because you don't want to get to the end of 21 days or the end of 30 days and you go to do your measurements and jump on the scale and nothing has happened. And it's because you had these little cheats here and there, which at the time didn't seem that big of a deal. You had eaten clean for 6 days and worked out every day, but then you went out to eat and you totally blew it with calories. Because I think we underestimate how many calories are in things, for sure. And then you get to the end of the program and nothing really happened. And it's such a waste. It's a waste of your time and your effort and your emotions. Like, just stick with it to prove to yourself that this does work and that you actually can do it. Like, you really, really can. It takes some willpower, but you 100% can do this, and then you'll know you can do it. And then you can start introducing some things here and there that you want to enjoy, like alcohol and treats and dessert and all that. But for this first round, just really try and power through. And also, like, calories, of course, they're going to set you back. But what I think even sets you back more is what a cheat or a binge can do to your mindset, because that is what is really going to set you back. And that's what sets me back. It's not even the calories that I'm like pissed off about that I just inhale. I'm just like pissed off because I said I was going to do this and I failed. I didn't do it. And maybe that happens on day 1 of your journey or day 14 of your journey. Whenever it happens, it sucks. And you basically say to yourself, oh, I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I couldn't follow this. I just can't. Why bother? I'm not going to do it. Or you say to yourself, I'm going to start on Monday. Screw it. I'll just like for the next 2 days, I'm just going to eat whatever I want and I'll start again on Monday. We all have done that in our past. So we need to stop that whole mentality and just do away with that thinking, because that is what sets us back in our journey. And that's going to prevent us from ever getting to our goals, is our mindset about that.
It's total mindset. I mean, like food doesn't jump out of the cupboard into your mouth. You make a decision every time you eat something or every time you have something off the plan, and you just have to get into this mindset. If you find yourself, this happens to me all the time. I find myself walking to the pantry at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and I have to ask myself, like, why are you here? Like, you're not hungry. There's not many of us that are legit hungry. We're just bored. So you have to ask yourself those questions. You have to get into the habit. You have to get yourself out of the bad habits. You have to just stop. You have to get into the habit of stopping yourself and saying, why am I doing this? Like, what void is this filling? Did I eat everything earlier this morning and save enough for the end of the day? Like, you really have to start figuring this out. I know I have to leave a container for the end of the night. I have to, because I know that I need it. If I didn't do that, I would cheat. I would cheat on something. That's just my personality. So I leave a red container for the end of the night for some Greek yogurt. I leave a teaspoon as well for peanut butter. So I swirl peanut butter in my Greek yogurt. I put it in the freezer for like 5 minutes. It's just a little something. So I've figured that out for myself. That cures me from the raid of chips and peanuts and whatever can crunch in my mouth after 10 o'clock. So you have to, get to know the things that you need to do. It might be a little bit of trial and error, especially you guys in this first week. I talked to someone today that put all of her fruit and one of her green containers in her Shakeology for breakfast. Well, by mid-afternoon, she was starving, right? Like, she should have left some containers. Like, she was bulking up at breakfast thinking that was going to be a good decision. But what happened was, by the afternoon, she wanted to gnaw off her arm. It probably wasn't that she was really that hungry. It was a mindset, right? She thought, oh my God, I only have like a red and green left for tonight at supper. I'm going to die. Like, it was a mindset thing. So we figured out, okay, now you don't need to put all of that stuff in your Shakeology. You don't need to put anything in there. Like, water and ice will be fine, or half a banana, but not all of it. And then you can have some strawberries for your snack or whatever, strawberries and almonds, or apple and almond for your snack. And I always find having something to look forward to, like every couple hours, keeps me going. Like, healthy or not, it's, maybe you used to have a Kit Kat at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but now you're going to have an apple and almonds. At least, you're still getting something to eat. It's something to look forward to. So I really like that every few hours, keeping something there for you to eat. So spreading your containers out is we're all different. And that's what the kind of things you have to figure out. That's what the first 21 days are about. Figuring out what's going to work for you. But it's always a decision. You always have the choice to cheat or not. No one's making you do it. It's really a mindset thing.
And I think one of the best tips that I could give for dining out is we talk about planning out your day. What you need to do is plan out when you're going to have your shake and sort of place it in your day very strategically. So for me, if I'm going out for dinner at, let's say we have reservations for 7 p.m., I'm going to move my shake where I normally have it at like 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to probably move it till like 6 because I know I'm going to be having a late dinner. So when dinner time comes and I'm not eating, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I need to be eating something. Right. And then if I'm making the kids like Kraft Dinner before we go out for dinner, I'm going to want to eat the Kraft Dinner or the pizza. Right. So have your shake for before you are heading out to a party or to a restaurant, and have your shake then, because that's going to sort of fill you up and it's going to prevent you from making some bad decisions more than likely. I am notorious for bringing my shake in the car with me when I go anywhere. Like, you know, if I'm heading out to a party, I'll bring my shake and drink it in the car, or even on the way to a restaurant, I'll have my shake beforehand and drink it in the car. And it's going to just, I'm going to choose better knowing that I just had my shake. I don't need to have a big meal. You know, I had something super healthy, so I want to keep up the trend and keep going with my healthy food. So don't, you know, you have to really plan out your day and sort of keep your containers. If you are going to have some wine at dinner, you need to save a yellow container, 2 yellow containers for dinner, right? Or, you know, save your blue because you're probably going to have sort of more healthy fats with that dinner. So save your blue container for dinner too. So don't save all your containers though. Like, don't starve yourself all day because you're going to go out for dinner. That's going to like big time like set you back. You need to eat, you know, every few hours leading up to that dinner. Have your shake before you leave, and then go to dinner and just have a nice, light, easy dinner. You don't need to have this huge filling dinner with appetizers and a big main course and dessert, drinks. You don't have to do that. Like for me, I don't need to have alcohol with a meal. That's not when I want alcohol. I want to have a drink hanging on the couch with a blanket and my husband. Like that's when I want to have an alcoholic drink, not at dinner. To me, I would rather just have some Perrier with my supper. So kind of like figure out where do you want your alcohol to be? Do you want to have a drink, you know, when you meet up with friends before you go to the restaurant? Do you want to save your drink for then? Because that's probably when I would. It's more of a social thing, not like an eating and drinking thing. Or maybe you're going to go back to a friend's house after dinner. Do you want to save your drink for then? Like, really plan it out. Try not to have more than 1 or 2 drinks, because we all know what happens after we have 1 or 2 drinks. We start to just throw it all out the window, and who cares? Who cares? We'll start again on Monday. And, you know, then you just make more bad choices and more bad choices. And then you wake up the next morning and you really feel bad about what happened the night before. And you are starting again from scratch day 1. Automatically. So just really, really keep focused on why you're doing this, what you want to get out of it, and plan ahead.
Totally. It's so true. I was just going to say, I was notorious for holding back, not containers. This was long before the 21-day fix, but, you know, not eating all day on Saturday, like nothing. And then just like freaking binging for hours on junk and wine. And I mean, terrible. And, you know, when Megan said we underestimate calories, we're notorious for that. You know what else we do? We overestimate our calorie burn in our exercises. Like, you're burning off like maybe half a bun in your workouts, like not very much, like hardly an apple. Like, you're not doing very much burning. Like, honestly, I think we all think we're like burning off several meals every time we work out. That is not what we're doing. Like, we're getting our heart rate up, we're building muscle, we're doing a lot of amazing things. What we are not doing is burning off our day's worth of food. So you have to be really cautious of what you are eating. It is 100%, 90% what you're eating. That's where your results are going to come from. 10% is the exercise. And we seem to, like, I go through the first week in my challenge group and everyone's like virtually high-fiving each other when they get that workout in and they didn't snooze the alarm. And that's all awesome. Like, that's part of it. But we should be high-fiving when the person says they didn't cheat, or they, you know, they made the healthy choice. Like, that's where the big changes are going to happen. You know, I can exercise all day and still gain weight. Like, you know, it's not going to change much if it's just the exercise part that you're doing. You 100% have to do the nutrition. That's where the big changes are going to happen. So I think we've probably said enough tonight. Do you guys have any questions? That would be the last part. If you guys have some questions for us, we are happy to answer them here. Usually people are too nervous to talk. You can put them in the chat box too if you have something, and you know you can always message us. So going once, twice. All right, well, everyone's going to have a perfect week. Okay, well, this was awesome. I hope that we gave you a little bit of value, and you know that if you have questions, you can always reach out to your coach or just you know, the challenge groups are supposed to be for support. So posting your question in that group, if you have the question, probably everyone else in the group has it too. So you're really doing everyone a service if you just open up in that group and share what you're going through, and then everyone else will come in and probably share the same thing and give each other the support that you need. So that's what challenge groups are about. We really want to have that sort of feeling of support and motivation and keep each other going, because there's going to be hard days for everybody. There's still hard days for me and Megan too. Like we're human. We make mistakes and have to backtrack and regroup all the time. So that's just what this is about. It's not about a quick fix. It's just kind of learning what's going to work and working with what we've got. So good luck to everybody. And thanks for joining us.
Hey, night, guys.
See you later.